about food and seeing it being prepared. So my name's Fiona Richmond. I work for an organisation that promotes and grows the Scottish food and drink sector. So it's really lovely to be here with you today and look at what we've got for you here. Always great to see a real piece of raw meat. But delighted to introduce lovely chef Andrew and general manager Andreas from the Knipoch. Is that how you
Knipoch, yeah,
Knipoch
correct,
House Hotel. Does anyone know it? Has anyone been? Yeah, okay.
Yay.
Obviously, excellent. Okay, so if you haven't been already, you're going to be getting booked in soon, and just about 10 minutes down the road. And they're going to tell the story of the hotel and the business and the suppliers they work with and cook up some dishes from the new menu. And really pleased to see here a lovely map of the suppliers they use from across Scotland. That's really important for all of us. So I'm going to hand over to you now. And I've been told it's a bit of sort of a comedy show, so I don't quite know what we're in for. And we've just had a session with the Hebridean baker and Peter, and we had some Gaelic songs and a little bit of dancing. So you've got that to follow then. So come on, boys, come on. So, and we'll ask some questions, but just enjoy it and save up questions, and we'll have a bit of fun. So thank you.
Right.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Obviously, you know my name's Andrew. I'm from South Africa. Been in Scotland now probably too long. I think I class myself as Scottish. So what I've done is I've actually brought the general manager because he sort of forced me into this situation.
Never.
So I thought I'd just bring along and duplicate it, and he can have some of the trouble. I'm not the talkative type, so I'll leave most of the talking up to him. What we're doing today is I'm going to just debone a saddle of venison for you. Venison comes from the wild Argyll venison, Rob Cameron, who's just down the road near Easdale. We use him. He's been in business about 15 years. I use him from a point of view, he's very consistent. He's a very solid person with his meat. Most of the meat comes from Isle of Mull and some of the estates around Oban. So that is why I'm using him. So what I'll do is, while Andreas waffles about the hotel, I will just process and do just a debone the one side of the venison, and then I'll go on to cook you one of the dishes that we're doing now at the hotel. Is not fine dining, is just a 7-course tasting menu, which we opened on Thursday for the first time. So it's a progress we've worked on for a year. So hopefully we get in there. So please, if you've got any questions, please ask Andreas, and I will crack on and do it.
Brilliant.
But anyway, I'll leave you to
Right.
Andreas. He can have a waffle.
Andrew, thank you for the introduction. Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, it's after lunchtime now, so nice meeting you all. We are for the Knipoch House Hotel, and it's just down the road, 10 minutes from here, not far away. And if you haven't been, please come along, because our aim is to really cater food of the local area, and that's why we said we work with Rob, for example, together for the venison supplier as well, and that we welcome you and work and experience the local suppliers in the Knipoch House Hotel. It's very, very keen for us. We just bought the hotel in last year in May. We have also 3 hotels on Isle of Skye, and it's a family-run business. Anne Gracie Gunn owns the business, and she brought up from the peak off, starting on Skye with a small property of 11 bedrooms. And now Knipoch House Hotel has 26 bedrooms. It's just new refurbished, and we really want to welcome everybody. The hotel is really there to operate and service as well for the local community. And this is why we're so happy to be here today, and thank you for coming as well to watch Andrew doing his art. I know Andrew for many years. Andrew worked with us as relief chef on Isle of Skye in the different hotels. And we said, you know what? Now we need to work together in Knipoch, because he can really, really show off his talent he has. And we launched, when we opened the hotel last year, normal a la carte menu. You can have 1 course, 3 course, 2 courses, again from the old local suppliers. And we have a little bit map together. I know it's very small here, but you can see a little bit of Scotland map here. And we have throughout Scotland, we're using, for example, the halibut comes from Orkney. We use scallops from the Shetland Islands. Obviously, venison just around the corner, which is just from the Seal Island. We have the chain cheese. We're also using, obviously, raspberry, partridge from the Fife area as well. So we're really, really trying to work with suppliers, so not only local suppliers, but always Scottish suppliers. That's very, very key for us.
Fantastic.
And as Andrew mentioned, we just opened a Taste of Scotland menu. We have an old stone room, which goes back to 1635. And you can sit in the old walls and experience the tasting menu, which brings you to the whole journey of Scotland. It has meat dishes, fish dishes on there, and again, we work with all the local suppliers. So Andrew, how you get on? Because I'm waffling around here now. And,
I'm enjoying it.
You're enjoying it? Oh, thanks. You're
enjoying
enjoying it. It's fantastic.
Get into my own zone here. So what we've done is, obviously the venison is shot. It's taken back to Rob's storage. Venison will hang for about 7 days before they butcher. That's if it hasn't been shot properly. If it's shot badly, they will then do it as soon as possible. So it's hung for 7 days. They then butcher it on site. We will then have a saddle delivered to us as fresh as we can get. What we're doing as well with the venison is I've taken more of the meat. I've taken now the liver of the venison and the kidneys of the venison. I think it's an underutilized. It has been sold somewhere in the UK, but it's not something that's on many menus. The liver is a very, very subtle, fresh flavor. And the kidneys just, I can't explain it to you. It's just really a tasty piece of meat, and I think it's just to use more of the animal than just to feed it to the buzzards. I'm sure they get enough food as it is with the shooting going on. So once I've done the venison, obviously I'm just cleaning it all up. If I sound a bit nervous, I am.
He's doing very well. So really the concept of, which I'm really pleased with, as Andrew mentioned, he worked really hard the last year to launch our new Tasting Scotland menu. And please come along. I mean, we open the whole year, which is good news as well for the local suppliers, and for our guests as well. You can also come, by the way, for afternoon tea, scones, fruit scones. You can come for lunch as well. We're just launching also a new autumn-winter menu, which goes live in the beginning of October. And you can have the traditional fish and chips and the crannikin on there and the sticky toffee. But the heart, which really goes through the meal and the dishes, is really where you can see Andrew's signature throughout the whole journey. And we're trying to make the Knipoch House Hotel a destination for the food experience as well. This is very, very key for us.
Fantastic.
So obviously once I've cleaned the venison, for the 1635 restaurant for the tasting menu, what I would do, because I'm not going to do it today, is I would split the meat down the middle so that I get a smaller portion. I then roll it extremely tight in cling film, backpack it, and for 2 days I'll just leave it in the backpack to form the shape of the circle, the round that I want. Once I've done that, and the backpacked that's the next process. So there we've got already the portion size. You can see over there. What that is done is then for 48 hours I will marinate that in pumice oil, a bit of thyme, some garlic, and a few crushed juniper berries and red pepper. Sorry, pumice oil. So it's almost the same as, what's that yellow oil? I can't think of the name. Rapeseed oil. It's very similar to that. Pumice oil can be a mixture of normal sunflower oil and olive oil. So I go towards more of the yellow, so that's fine. So that will marinate, as I said, for 48 hours. Once that is done, the next process is I will sous vide it. You all know what a sous vide is? Right, a sous vide is a bath of water with a controlled temperature. So it'll have a stick that you put into the water. You would set a specific temperature and it will maintain that temperature and circulate the water at all stages. You can set what temperature you want it to be at, how long you want it to be done for, and it does the work for you. So it then goes into that vac pack sealed bag. You could try and do it on your stove, but obviously that's a little bit harder because you can't control the temperature and it needs to circulate the water. So that's basically the sous vide. So once that goes into the sous vide, that'll go in at 52 degrees, so it's quite rare. And I'll do that for about 45 minutes. The reason we sous vide for me is when you cook meat, you take it off the stove, you need to rest it in order for the blood to settle. So, you know, when you cut it, you don't get blood all over the plate. So the sous vide sets it at that specific temperature. Once I cook it, I don't have to rest it for as long. So it's already just pre-cooked to the temperature I want it in the center. So it's just to reheat it. And then that's the process. So that's the venison. Let me just wash my hands.
Looks beautiful. You obviously love working with Scottish produce. What do you love about it most?
Scottish, it's quite sad because we all talk about wanting to have local produce. And obviously times have changed for us there's not that many local producers, which is quite sad. You know, we look at venison, we can get, unfortunately, we used to get halibut from Gear. They've closed down. So it becomes so harder for chefs to find suppliers that, one, can supply us with the products, the consistency of the product, and obviously the volume. You know, because if places or hotels doing 100, 120 covers a day, you go through quite a bit of venison, you can go through quite a bit of beef. You need a regular supplier. So that is where it becomes difficult. And this has been sort of a drive for us for probably the last 6 months, is to look for local suppliers, even if it's for a period of 3 months. It wouldn't worry me. For instance, on Gear, we used to have a lady that grew her own vegetables in her polytunnels. She didn't want loads of money, she just did it as a hobby. But we used to just buy in all her salad leaves and all her it was just stunning. It was so fresh, it was delivered to your door, it was hand-picked. So it wasn't, it was just such a pleasant environment. So that is what we look for. So it's difficult. You know, and everybody's saying, oh, we need to support locals, we need to support locals. We need to find them. We need people to grow things. Otherwise, there's no point.
So if you know anybody who would like to work with us together, would be absolute, please come forward.
Set up a business.
Let Andrew and Andreas know, would be perfect. I think some may be wondering why it's called 1635.
Yes.
So there's a little bit of history to it. Round about 10 years ago, the room which we talk about is like an old stone room with the old facilities. It was covered with plastic board. So 10 years ago, when we done the previous one, the refurbishment, they put the plastic boards down and suddenly found this amazing room with a big plaque on the wall, which has a unicorn and also has a lion on there. And we done a little bit of research. And the research gave that this plaque originally was outside the original house, and it was the tax office in 1635 for the local people to with the taxes there. So now the new logo, and I'll just show you because later on you have it on the plate. So we branded, for example, all our plates with our logo, and I can show in the camera as well. It's, you can see it that way. So you have 1635, and you have the unicorn on top of there as well. So really, we're trying to keep the history of the hotel with the food as well. In addition, maybe some people are wondering, what means Knipoch? And we go in a time machine back to the Vikings. Because when the Vikings were on the shore of Loch Fyirchen, which is just across, obviously, on the water side of the Knipoch House Hotel, they called it Knipoch House Hotel, and I just read it exactly out, a hilly place, which is true because around Knipoch House Hotel you have a little bit smaller hills around it, and they used it to protect the boats as well for storm and heavy winds, because it's a nice area there as well. So there's a lot of history, and we're just writing a little bit of history book about the Knipoch House Hotel because in front of the hotel is a road which all the kings, which were later buried on the Isle of Iona, bypassed through on this road there as well. So there's so much going on. We're working with some journalists together, local historian as well, and watch the space next year. Big launch of the historic book. But anyway, more important now, come the reality back. Chef.
Yes, thank you. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go into the process of our dish, the tasting menu, obviously the venison. So we've taken the venison loin, as I've said, we've sous vide. Once that's done, I will then make a ragout out of the kidneys and the liver. Unfortunately, I couldn't get today. I was hoping Rob would be able to get me some fresh, but he wasn't able to. So what I've done is, obviously I've got some at home, at work. So we'll take that down, I'll cook it with shallots, with some thyme, with some juniper berries, cook it down, add some port, saute it all down till it's nice and thin. Then I will take my jus and I'll add my jus through that. And that just becomes part of my ragout, which becomes one element of the dish. The second element of the dish is obviously the red cabbage. Basically the red cabbage I've used just Granny Smith apple, 100 mils of port, 220 mils of red wine, 200 mils of apple juice, 40 grams of butter, salt and pepper. So what I will do is obviously I'll put the butter, put the cabbage through, add the apples, mix it, port, wine, and then I'll take a muslin cloth with star anise, cinnamon, cardamom, and juniper berries in the muslin cloth into there, and I'll just let it cook until I get to the tender, almost cooking all the liquid away. So it becomes quite a sticky feel to it when you cook it again. From that, we've got the red cabbage. With the red cabbage, I've taken a fresh Granny Smith apple, which if I've got the time, which I'm sure I have, is a fantastic little
Gadget there.
gadget. El Cheapo from not the genuine one from Japan, which is about 400 pounds worth of equipment. But this really does do the job. It can be a shredder, it can be a peeler, it can be everything. That should hold. So all I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create just a slice of apple, which I then marinate in just straight port in a backpack bag, and I leave it just to marinate. So it's just really a gentle art of just getting the pressure with your hand. As you can see, we're not winning. Here we go. So that's inevitably what I end up with.
Look at that.
So I'll cut it into sort of 10, 12 centimeter lengths, vac pack it, marinate it in the port. And when we've done that, that's the next one of the other elements of the dish. I knew this was going to happen. There we go. The next element is we've done the kidneys, we've done the apple. Obviously, I'm not going to cook cabbage unless you want to spend the next hour and a half here just watching it cook. No time at all. So there I brought some of the red cabbage with me for the plate. So I've got my venison. The next vegetable, which I'm very fond of, is salsify. Does anybody know salsify? There we go. Can you answer the question then, please? No, I'm joking. Basically, for me, salsify is what I would call a weed. Okay? Not the weed you smoke, but just the weed. It's almost of the dandelion plant. It's a long, thin root. You get two different types. You get a white salsify, black salsify. Black salsify apparently is supposed to be a fake salsify, but we all use it. It's all we can get. So we use that. The salsify is very similar tasting. It's got a nutty taste to it. So with that, it's a very dirty vegetable to work with because it's straight out the soil. It's covered in soil. You're peeling it. Your hands are dirty. There's sand everywhere. You've got to then soak it in lemon water when you're cleaning it. Otherwise, it goes brown. Once I've done that, I will vac pack it. A little bit of butter, a little bit of thyme, vac pack into a steamer and just let it steam for probably an hour till it's nice and tender. And then I will cut it into portion sizes. The other section of it is once again is salsa fire again, which I then cooked in half milk, half water, smoked salt. What I'll do is I'll cook that till soft. I'll then puree it, and what I'll do is I'll add truffle oil to it, and then I'll finish it off with a little bit of truffle on the top. So you're getting a little bit of the truffle flavor through it.
Very nice.
And that's the dish, and obviously the jus that we've made. So what I'll do is I'll get it all tidied here. And then what I can do is hopefully cook something without burning the place down.
For anyone wanting just to cook up a bit of venison quickly and easily at home to create a simple dish, what would you recommend?
Most of the time you might struggle to find loin, but you usually find venison haunch in your local shop, which is basically the buttock, a very nice piece of meat, very lean.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be very healthy because it doesn't carry any fat. It's probably as wild and as organic as you can get, because at this moment it's not really farmed. It is farmed in some parts, but it's wild. So you're really getting an animal out of its own environment. But the venison haunch, for me, is just salt, pepper, hot pan, sear it, loads of butter, thyme, garlic in your pan, just baste it, cook it to how you like it. To me, venison or any meat should be raw or rare. To me, it just has the flavor. Venison well done, might as well just go and buy a dry stick or piece of carrot. You'll get the same sort of feel and flavor to it. So that's what I would do.
Yeah, great. Okay, thank you. Sounds fab.
So in addition, what we're doing now is we have planted in the last, what was it, I think 6 months ago, we planted round about 20 apple trees in the garden as well.
Oh, lovely.
Some plum trees and some pear trees as well. We got the first apple already. Wow,
Yeah,
it's amazing, you know.
season, isn't it? Apple season.
And then the plan is for next year we create our own herb garden as well. So in the back of the hotel, which actually is south facing, which all the sun is there, which is great, we create a little herb garden so the chefs can go around and pick a little bit things for the dishes to finalize it off. But I heard early on, Chef, there's a lot of wine going on here. Is this wine for cooking or wine for drinking?
Both.
Both? Ah, okay, I thought so, yeah.
If anyone remembers, might be some remember Floyd.
Yeah. No, it's in drinking.
Those are good old days.
Can't get away with that as easily now.
Unfortunately, we're not allowed to do that
No, I
anymore.
know.
Well, not allowed to, but we still do it. That's why we marinate apples in sherry and we get our fruit and everything all at the same time.
Lovely smell already, yeah.
So obviously I've just got 2 pans, which is quite limited, but that's fine. Part of the garnish on the venison dish is dehydrated potato,
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
which is a fantastic product. It's sold by a company called MSK Ingredients. They do beetroot, they do carrot, they do spinach. It's all dehydrated into little sheets, and basically you can create it into anything or any shape you want. It's a sheet of paper, you cut it to the size you like, hot oil, not even 5-10 seconds, push it in, lift it out with a tongue onto a mat, roll it into the shape you want, let it cool, and bingo. And it's stunning. I've got a couple, so maybe some of you might get a bit of a taste of the potato, but it really is an intense flavor. So what I've done now is obviously I've just heated the cabbage up. Right, the lovely things these. They got their own mind. They switch on and off as they want. So I'm not a big fan of induction. They're very cheap for you to run, but they sort of, as I said, they have a brain of their own.
Yeah.
I find it quite frustrating. You'll have it on high heat, you go around, it switched itself off. You put your meat in, it drops the temperature, and then it tries to heat it up again. So I found it very inconsistent. So I'm very much into using gas. Just going to pop that there. So
So you cooking tonight at the restaurant? You
Yes.
working tonight?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, anybody wants to come tonight?
Have
see
you got
live
space?
cooking?
Have
Yes,
you got
we have
space?
space. We have
Okay.
space. If not, we make space tonight.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
Special guests.
You know, Andreas, there's always room.
There's always space.
Yes.
exactly,
You
yes.
always find a table for
There's
everyone.
always, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
That's
Always
hospitality,
space
isn't
for
it?
one. You know, we'll have a cut-off time of 7 o'clock, and 8 o'clock you'll still be doing another table, so
Oh,
rules don't abide to us.
see, that's true hospitality, isn't it?
It is hospitality, it's just
Yeah.
the way it is. Blue roll.
Okay.
So when Chef is preparing his lovely, wonderful dish, I'd give you one more story, which I
yes.
have as well in our lovely book, and it was The Wars of the Stone Room, 1635, still bears the mark of the most notorious event in Knipoch history. And it is, in 1591, the murder that inspired Shakespeare's play Macbeth happened actually in this room. And when you check in as a guest with us, we show you the room and we show you
Really?
exactly where the bullet point is, so you can see it.
Doesn't put them off.
Knew the comedy would come sooner or
I
later.
know, this was the comedy part, you know.
Wait for the
It
fire
was
alarm,
going
folks.
smoothly. That's why I say I love inductions.
Yeah, you've definitely got a bite of the road.
Got a back, but just cover that thing.
I think the good thing is the fire detector is this way, not this way. Oh yeah, the wind machine, yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Here we go, Chef.
Didn't
Come on,
think of
go back and chop.
Before we all have to evacuate the building.
You know, this was the comedy part, but never mind.
There we go.
Marvelous.
Oh my goodness. Whew.
I had an accident, but there we go.
Nothing happened.
But that's a great story and about the murder.
The murder, yeah?
murder.
And everybody knows Shakespeare.
Yeah.
So,
We do.
in addition, obviously, what we're planning to do is we are in December planning some Christmas stalls. Sorry, a little bit of smoke a little bit here, but it's part of the show, you know. Can we get some laser on as well, maybe? Let's make a little bit more, you know.
Some first aiders on that.
No, so what we're doing is we have some wooden stalls, and we're looking for people. So please tell everybody, any local suppliers
Okay, got a
who
Christmas
would like to
market.
sell their own craft and everything else. They can come to us
Lovely.
and get a stall for one day,
Oh, well done.
which would be amazing.
Thank you.
So it's every weekend in December.
Oh, nice.
Everybody can come. We have, I think, Chef, we have some influence from Germany. I don't know why, but anyway. So we have some German sausages, sauerkraut,
No idea where
mulled
it came
wine, waffles.
that's
So
lovely.
please come along. It's in front of the hotel
Sounds
every
lovely.
Saturday, Sunday. So please be there.
That's a real feel good for everybody, isn't it?
Yeah, it should be good fun, that,
Yeah,
actually. It's-
really, really nice.
I mean, I haven't told Chef he has to wear a Santa hat, but never
No.
mind, it's fine.
Okay,
He's very flexible,
yeah.
as we can see.
He doesn't realize that's P45 material.
Santa hat's the last thing. Yeah, that's the last straw.
Right, so I'll try not to make any more smoke here. The cameraman's going to
The
rip
wind's
into me
open,
later.
thank you. All smells
I think we're getting very hungry here now, because
Yeah.
it smells good.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got like, yeah.
Well, I'll make it up to you. You can taste it then I can take back my smoke in the whole room out. So all I'm doing is just now giving it a real reheat. I'll possibly cook the venison a bit longer, but we might then have lost everybody.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have been too popular with having to evacuate the whole building. We'll do that tomorrow at 3 o'clock when I'm back.
So please come for the next
Yeah.
entertainment.
Yeah.
If you need to practice a fire drill, that would be excellent.
You must get guests from all over the world, do you? Have you got
We are getting guests from all the world, yeah.
Yeah.
We have a lot of Americans from Europe.
Uh-huh.
But as I said earlier on, the most important for us is to build the base with the
The locals.
locals. Because the tourists are the top up, I call it. You know, the tourists are the local people are the most important for us.
You're obviously building a real community that have been really proactive and not.
Yes, we also, in addition, we have once in a month, we have Rob Woods playing with us on the guitar and the fiddle. And it's a free event, so everybody can come as well. We just had it yesterday night.
Right, good
There were
fun.
around about 47 guests there, and they were all dancing a little bit around, so it was a lot of fun, no, Chef? You heard it?
was.
You heard it in the
Enjoy
kitchen
it,
even, so
yeah.
it was good.
I was back where I was supposed to be. I didn't get the luxuries of being front of house and having the pleasure of music and
Wow.
drinking and having a good time.
Oh, it's a shame, isn't it?
It
I
happens
know.
afterwards. He gets a violin out already.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
You know, it's just do as you're told. Do this, do that. Have you done that? So yeah. Anybody worked in a kitchen? Oh,
Okay.
it's always got to be one.
Yeah.
Where did you work?
Oh,
Ah.
Bavaria. Both sides.
Oh, nice.
You love lots of stories to tell. It's a great industry to be in, though. It's hard work, but you're making people happy, aren't you? Giving people an experience that they remember.
We have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is with the plating, I take a little bit of the cabbage.
This is where it gets all proper chefy, isn't it? Yeah.
The fine details now, you know.
Yeah.
We try and keep it as neat as we can. So you just get that lovely fresh apple taste, port, cabbage. Now that goes on that plate. Oops.
Brilliant.
How are we doing for time?
We
I
are
think we're
doing
okay.
well.
Yeah, I've got 5 minutes. We can
5
get
minutes.
some questions.
Cool.
Well, we wanted to do dessert as well, but I think we leave it for tomorrow, Chef.
Yeah.
Dessert.
Has anyone got any questions they'd like to ask Chef or Andreas just now? Yes?
You said earlier about suppliers and have difficulty sometimes with different
Yes.
ingredients, but I'm assuming that the reverse is also true, in that sometimes there are some things where there's multiple suppliers. I'm hoping that's the case. And if that was the case, how would you decide? Or is that a trade secret?
If there was,
Question.
that would be fantastic.
Present.
I think because we're looking at seasonal, I think a nice thing would be to have suppliers that seasonally do, you know, summer you've got a supplier that focuses just as on summer, which is difficult because everybody needs to make money. We all want to make a living. But it would be great to have someone where you get your salad from, then come winter you've got someone that's growing something else and something else. That everything that you're putting on your plate is from within 20, 30 miles from your business. But unfortunately there is none because obviously there's such a huge demand for food and produce. You know, so we talk local suppliers, people say, oh, I use Breckenridge, for argument's sake, who supply vegetables. That's not a local, he's local, but it's just a local business. Everything comes from all over the world, which is unfortunate. You know, it's nice in summer, we sometimes get the raspberries, Scottish raspberries, fantastic. You then get Scottish asparagus, fantastic. And that's what makes food so exciting, is because you get that spell of everything's focused on asparagus. So you're going out, you're eating asparagus. Then all of a sudden, right, asparagus season's finished, let's go into raspberries, or let's go into strawberries. And that's what I look at would be great, that you had those suppliers for most of what you're trying to put on your plate. For argument, the salsify, the potato, the red cabbage, is somebody's growing it and is able to grow the volumes to provide for us. But yeah, it doesn't help. Anything else? Okay.
Questions?
In addition, we also, please join us from the end of November time until just before Christmas. We're doing festive menu, like a lunch or a dinner. You can come, it's 3-course menu, set price for $29.95. So it's just to bring everybody along, and
Good value.
exactly, and the hotel will be decorated nicely in Christmas decoration, and so please share the words and come along to us.
Thank you.
So that we got, that's the salsify puree with the truffle through it. What I'll do is next is just a little bit of the
Lovely.
that's the venison and liver ragu. Basically, these are portion for two, as it is a tasting menu. So I'm just cutting it a full length down. I've still got some nice colour in the middle.
Yeah,
I
lovely.
don't know if that will zoom in.
Lovely. Cut beautifully.
That probably done at 55, and then I changed my mind down to drop it to 52. So then it just sits neatly on top of that. And then famous little potato.
Yeah, very famous, yeah.
It's a very delicate what could I say, vegetable to work with. Doesn't give you much leeway.
Lovely.
If there's any of the jus left, I haven't burnt it off the pan.
Try it again.
We won't tell anyone, don't worry. No, stays in the room. Lovely. Beautiful. How about that?
To top it all, if I can find the little jar of truffle.
Looking for?
Oh yeah, it is.
There.
Right, I'll use that one then.
It is.
So these are little small truffles we get from MSK. Really flavoursome.
Oh, we can smell.
Yeah, you can get the smell of it.
Yeah.
And then basically that's our
Beautiful. How's that
finished
then?
product.
Lovely. Well done, Chef. Fantastic.
Well done.
So much
Chef,
skill.
well done.
Yeah.
Is that-
Very good.
So
He's
my
back
time
tonight.
Right tonight. Any other questions for Chef or Andreas before we wrap up? No? Yes.
What do you like to cook? What's your favorite dish to cook?
Difficult question, but
It is,
hard to
because
choose.
it's obviously my upbringing is, as South African, we're massive meat eaters. For me at the moment, probably the best dish that I'm enjoying the most is what I've cooked is the partridge dish on the
Oh.
tasting menu. Because it's merely an introduction to game because of its mild flavour. So if you're not a gamey type of person, that's an introduction to game. And what we've done with the dish is just, I've tried to think what would that bird, one, be eating and how would it live? And in order just to pay them that little bit of respect back to them. So we've made a granola with seeds, with honey, lavender honey. We've done a sweet corn puree, which we've then enhanced with a popcorn flavor. So it's got a really smoky flavor. And that's just basically probably my favorite dish currently. And I just feel it's trying to pay homage.
yeah.
You know, it's like its last meal, if I could say it in that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say that is probably
Wonderful.
my favorite dish at the moment. I'm very fond of Mediterranean food, just from color, flavors. I like bold flavors, so yes, that's.
Fantastic. Great. Thank you. Any more before we wrap up?
Well, thank you for coming, everybody.
Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
thank you
And
so
tomorrow,
much.
3 o'clock, we're back.
Back if you want more.
With no smoke.
Yeah. A very big thank you, Andrew and Andreas. It sounds fabulous where you're at. It really does. It sounds like a really wonderful place to come and visit and enjoy and share food and company. So thank you so much. And a big thank you to all of you. Enjoy the rest of your day. We've got more talks and things today and tomorrow as well. But go and enjoy all the local food and the coffee. So thank you all. That's been great.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Marvelous. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Live already.
We're live? Ready? Everybody here? Ready to go? Perfect. Hello, good afternoon. Hi, nice meeting you. This is Andrew. He's exec chef from the Knipoch House Hotel, and I'm Andreas, general manager of the Knipoch House Hotel. Just down the road, 10 minutes from here. We just bought over the Knipoch House Hotel last year. We have another 3 hotels on Isle of Skye. It was built as a family business 20 years ago with Torvik, next to Torvik House Hotel, District in Skye, Dustill and Skibost, and now last year we bought the Knipoch House Hotel. We refurbished it last winter, and it has 26 bedrooms, and we have 2 amazing restaurants, one a la carte restaurant, and also we just launched our new stone room restaurant, 1635, and Andrew will cook one dish for you today, this afternoon, from the 1635 menu. And when he's cooking, we ask a couple of questions, but also I will tell you a little bit more about the history of the hotel, because a lot of things happen in this hotel. Right, Andrew.
Right.
Welcome.
That took long. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for coming. What I'm doing today is from our tasting menu. We've got a 7-course tasting menu. It consists of venison. The venison is supplied by Rob Cameron from Wild Argyll Meats. He's just based out close to Easdale. Rob does most of his shooting on Isle of Mull. I think he's been doing it, I think he started shooting at 11. He's now 72 and he's still doing it. So yes, he's got a good history. He's a very good consistent supplier. His venue's very clean and neat. He's also qualified to check for fluke or any diseases on the animals. So it does make us a difference. We've taken the journey of now trying to implement a few products from the venison. So I've done a venison liver and a venison kidney to add to the dish as a ragu. So we're trying to use more of the animal than just the saddle or the haunch. So what I'll do is, when Andreas is telling you a little bit about the history, I will go through, I'll just debone just the saddle, the one side of the saddle, just to show you the process of us doing it. And then I'll take you through the process of what I do, and then I'll cook up a storm, which I did. As you can see, I've already started, and we'll take it from there. But let Andreas just give you a little bit about the history of Knipoch. I'll go through the venison. If you've got any questions, just fire away. Andreas will answer.
Great. All right, yeah. No, obviously chef will answer, not me. He's an expert. But please, anytime you have a question, let us know. The hotel goes really backwards to the late 1500 in Knipoch House Hotel, and the name comes from the Vikings, because you have opposite the hotel, you have Lochfirchen, and in there they came with the Viking ships to be safe, obviously from storms and any dramatic weathers. And what actually means Knipoch? And it means, and I actually read it out exactly, it means hilly place. Because where Knipoch House Hotel is based, you have lots of small light hills, so this is why they called it hilly place, and this means Knipoch in the Viking language. Also, the hotel itself, if you know the hotel, is a long country house hotel, and the newer part, which is the right side part when you come to the hotel, was built 50 years ago, very similar to how it looks like the old part. So it makes the whole hotel looking like it was built in the 1500. The 7-course tasting menu, why we done it is we want to give non-resident guests, but also residents, a little bit flavor of Scotland, and we're using the different ingredients throughout Scotland. So not only, for example, using Orkney, we're using the Shetlands, we're using the Fife District as well. And obviously, as Chef mentioned early on, the venison is just from Rob, just a local supplier, just from the Seal Island. So it's very close to us. And it's very important for us that we use local suppliers. So anybody knows any local suppliers who wants to work with us, please let them know. Chef, how you get on?
Yeah, I'm getting on well.
It looks...
Yeah, so with regards to suppliers, obviously the industry, we're all trying to use locally sourced products from local people. We're finding it very difficult because there is just no more suppliers, because obviously the big people. The whole point of finding a supplier is, even if someone can supply us something for 3 months, whatever the product is, we can use it for our advantage and for the local community. So it's very much a driven thing that we can find small people that are doing this 3 months of the year. They've got, for argument's sake, a lady approached me, she's got cucumbers and tomatoes. You know, she only has a certain, I said, I don't mind. If I've got it for 3 months, I am providing a service as you are, and we're using local produce. We're just finding it seems to be just moving away from us more and more and more and more. So it's the same as the meat, the fish. We only use fish sourced from Scotland, so it's got to be Shetland, Orkney, and wherever we can, local oysters. I see we met the Caledonian oysters. So yes, that's our whole drive. So what I've done is I've just taken off the whole loin. Those bones we'll just chop up, and it'll be a base of our stock for a jus after that. That's just the phase 1. Phase 2, we'll add oxtail to it. Phase 3, we add chicken, and so on and so forth. So that's basically the loin. So you can see it's just connective tissue that will come off. Has anybody got any questions? Or are we just going to be a silent bunch and make me talk all the time? Which is not my forte, that's why I'm in the kitchen.
No, but also I think very important is to make everybody aware, and please spread the word. The Knipoch House really is more for the local community as well. We want to have the local people coming to us, dine with us, experience. So we, for example, launched, you can come at 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock you can come for scones and cream, and we will all launch afternoon tea very soon. Then you can come obviously for a dinner, which we have our a la carte menu, but also we have our tasting course menu now. Moving forward for the festive season, from the 28th of November to just before Christmas, we're offering a 3-course Christmas menu as well, which will be 3 courses for $29.95, and it's very reasonable price, I believe, because just to bring everybody along and just have a nice time. For example, last couple of weeks we had Rob Woods playing with us as well, he's a local artist, and we had around about 50 guests in the lobby everywhere, and just a little bit fiddling to Scottish music, which was a great atmosphere, and it's free of charge. So everybody can come. If you live in around Oban area or down south in direction to Kilmartin, please come along.
So now that I've done the venison, that's just the phase 1. So that's my loin. What I will do is, obviously because it's a tasting menu, I'll portion it. So I usually will, because I need this for later, I will portion that straight down the middle. I'll portion it to the specific weights that I need. I just need to wash my hands. Ah, there we go. So from that phase, we'll then go on to phase 2, which is what we call just the marinating of the venison. So once I've cut it into the portion size, I'll vac pack. I'll put some thyme in, rapeseed oil, some crushed juniper berries, maybe some garlic. I'll vac pack that for 24 to 36 hours. Once I've done that, we will then go on to the process of a sous vide. Is everybody aware of what sous vide is? Good.
we do a test later on.
Yes. So once I've done that, I will then take that product, it'll get into sous vide at 52 degrees for 45 minutes. I will then take that down, cool it, and that's basically the end product that I will then use to cook the dish. Which we'll start. With the dish, I've done a red cabbage, which I've basically just taken, as you know, red cabbage, apples, a standard sherry port, reduce it to what standard I want it, to the flavor I want. Secondly, then, that's my kidney ragu that I've taken. Basically, I've just taken shallots, thyme, fried all off. I've then used the jus that I've made into that sauce. I'll then cook that as long as I can, and that'll get me the compactness and the flavor that I'm looking for. I use salsify. Does anybody know what salsify is? Basically, salsify is a weed.
Not so smoking, yeah?
Not the smoking weed, but I'm sure someone's tried to smoke it, but so basically salsify is a weed. It's almost from the dandelion family. It's a really long root. It's got a lovely flavor. It's very nutty, very creamy, very underutilized vegetable. So we're using a bit of salsify. With that, I do just some salsify backpack bag again, steam through the oven till I get to the temperature and the texture that I'm looking for. I will then take the other part of salsify and I'll turn that into a puree, which I will then add some truffle and truffle oil to it. So I have a little bit of truffle flowing through the dish. And then to finish that, which I'll show you now, is I take apple that I've sliced very thinly, and all I do is I compress it with port, and it gets vac-packed, and that is it. So I'm keeping the freshness of the apple, but I've got a nice flavor of the port and the apple combined together. How I do that is a little magic machine.
Where can I get a machine, chef?
eBay.
eBay. Oh, here we go.
Basically very similar to it. They call it a Japanese mandolin. If you want to buy the genuine one, dig deep, about 400 pounds worth. So this is not 400 pounds worth. Obviously I'm not using it on a daily basis. It can be used as a slicer, a shredder, if you've ever heard of spaghetti vegetables, that sort of thing, this is what it does. So it's quite an art. It's manually operated, so it does take a while to get used to. So it's just basically taking a bit of pressure, turn the apple,
Hey.
and then bingo, there we go.
Hey, chef, well done.
So I won't put that on there. So those will then be cut into my portions. To what size? It's usually about 10, 12 centimeters into the backpack bag, a little bit of sherry or port, and bingo. We've got a lovely piece of fresh apple flavored. So it's a handy machine. I think that one was about 25 pounds. So you can do anything you want. You can do parsnips. Obviously, you've got to cut it to the length of the arm, but you can do parsnips, you can do carrots, you can do courgettes, any vegetable you want, whether you want it that shape or shredded. It's just a special piece of equipment that just gives you a little bit of, it's fun to play with as well. And plus it's from a mandolin and a grater, it's a little bit safer on your fingers. We all know the mandolin's quite a horrendous piece of equipment. So once we've done that, we'll go through the process of showing you a plate of food that we're offering at the hotel.
So how long does it take, chef, if you put this in port, how long will you do?
These I'd probably leave for 3 hours. So I would do this all just before service. They do become a little bit too strong in the port if you leave it for a day longer, but then that's the chef's privilege that we get our fruit for the day. So we eat the apple with the port. So boss doesn't know we're having a good drink as well and having some food.
The big benefit.
It's just a pleasant way to enjoy your fruit of the day.
So when chef is just preparing this as well, we go a little bit time machine backwards of the Knipoch House Hotel, and I'm just reading it out because I think it's better written than. So with the building dating to the mid of the 1600, we have a nice plaque in the stone room, and it says 1635 on there. You have the lion on there, you have the unicorn on there, but this plaque originally was in front of the hotel or front of the house, and was a tax office in 1635. So it was quite interesting there as well. But also even before the house, one could have seen Robert the Bruce in his battles, obviously, in front of this area. And on the medieval kings of Scotland passed by on the Road of the Kings. So in front of the hotel, we have the Road of the Kings because the kings of Scotland have been buried on Iona. So they came exactly around the hotel front there and then been over the ship over there. So it's a very historic place. We're very lucky where we are, and I think we need to make sure we bring more tourists and more people in this area because it's a very flourishing area, I think, in the future. And we have also Loch Melford House, their hotel there as well. And then further, the Kilmartin Museum opened up now as well. So this south area has so much to offer, and I think we just need to make people more aware. So in addition to get obviously more people there, we will open up a Christmas market in December, which is just in front of the hotel. Only 5 stalls, but we're looking a little bit Christmassy. You get your mulled wine, you get the German sausages, you get a sauerkraut, and also the other 5 stalls will be advertising is for local people to sell the artists. Whatever they're performing in the year, they can sell in the stall there as well. We have some choirs coming as well. We have the open bell ringers coming as well. So there's a lot of things happening there throughout December because obviously you have the Winter Festival in Oban. So we thought, let's do something in December. Chef, how we get on?
We're getting on well.
Are we getting smoking stage or?
Oh, no, we're working on that. We're just waiting the fans on. So what also comes with a dish, which is a tremendous product, is a slice of that, which is dehydrated potato. It's supplied by a company that anybody can use, which is quite nice. It's not just aimed at the hotel industry. It's MSK Ingredients. Fortunately, it's probably it's a fair size sheet. You're looking at £2.90 for a sheet. So it's not a cheap product, but it's a fantastic flavor that it comes out of the potato. All you're doing is that deep fried 5 to 10 seconds, take it out, put it on a blue cloth, roll it over whatever shape you want, which I've done here, and you've got your shape and you've got some piece of potato on your dish. So it really is a lovely product. They do beetroot, they do carrot, they do spinach, they do all sorts of flavors and whatever. So I'm just heating up the red cabbage. Let's pop that there. Put the kidneys on. So as you can see, it's almost a one-pot dish. Not really, but let's get a bit of heat through that. A little bit more of the jus. So has everybody had venison before? Does everybody enjoy it? It's a product that should be eaten more often within the industry, but it's not.
Behind you, maybe use some of this.
I'll just need a spoon.
I think the different chef is using as well, not only the venison in one way, using the kidney and the liver.
Yeah, it's just, to me, it's. I know they used it before, but it's very underutilized product, and it's really a tasty piece of meat. It's not what you expect. It's not that strong flavor. If you've had lamb's liver, ox liver, you soak it in milk and do all of that. This, I found, you just don't have to do that anymore. So it's got a really subtle flavor. Obviously, you'll have to go to Rob to get that, because I don't think anybody sells it anywhere. You know, and they were worried about fluke and whatever. So now we got the cameraman's favorite time.
We had it yesterday, so the whole room was full of smoke.
I've got to have
yesterday.
the drama, otherwise there's no point in doing this. I'm not a big fan of induction because it just goes up and down. It's a very inconsistent cooking method. I know it's cheaper.
You prefer gas, huh?
Prefer gas. I
Yeah.
can turn it up, I can turn it down, I can control it. No, yeah. No smoke today, Gary.
No, Gary's
Yeah.
waiting.
I'm disappointed in myself. Eh?
Chef, how long would you spend time on it to do this dish in general? Like if you at home try to do it, how much time you need to allocate for this dish?
I suppose it just depends on your skill levels. You know, you can buy your venison haunch, you can marinate it at home. You know, you can use haunch, you don't have to use the strip loin. So yeah, probably the liver and kidneys you're not going to get. Red cabbage takes you about an hour and a half to cook.
Yeah.
Parsnip purees, that's another 40 minutes. So you've got a good 3 hours, 3.5 hours to put into the dish before you get the finished product. There we go. There we go.
So if you want to treat yourself, instead of spending 3 hours in the kitchen prior, come to Knipoch House Hotel, have the dish.
You knew that was coming, didn't you? Is anybody in the hospitality industry here, or just curious cooks?
Curious cooks, I think.
Curious cooks. Right, so while that's going, I'll just start the plating. So the red cabbage goes into my apple. And we just roll it very neatly into the cabbage. Just all neatly trimmed. It goes on the plate.
Brilliant.
And just need a little bit more jus in that.
What is this small teapot there? Are we having tea served as well with the dish, or?
That's a magic little pot, that.
Ah, so we need to rub a little bit later, yeah?
So what are we doing with that is, I decided it's just a perfect gravy boat. Very expensive gravy boat,
Yes, thanks, chef.
but a lovely product.
I think it adds to the theatre.
We're looking more for a little bit of drama, a little bit of theatre. It gives you interaction with the customer. You know, it gives you a little bit of time to spend with them. A little bit of truffle. Salsify. Put the lamb there.
So also the good news is we are open the whole year. So you can come anytime if you like. And also we open for Christmas. We do a nice Christmas Day lunch. And we also do a big Hog Money celebration. So we have a little bit Kaylee involved as well. So whoever wants a nice dance, please come along. Chef will be very busy as well, I guess.
Yes, together we would. One thing I did forget was I forgot to bring a plate, so I have to borrow one from here. So roughly one piece will do me 2 portions. So as you can see, we've got, if I can zoom it up there, got a nice bit of colouring in the centre. It's not rare, but it's a nice sort of medium rare. And that's what you get with the sous vide, it just stops the bleeding process. So you're not cutting it and you've got blood and you're resting it for 20 minutes.
It smells very good, chef.
Thank you. Hopefully it
Getting
tastes
very
good.
hungry now.
Whoops. The shakes for no reason.
So what would happen in the restaurant then? Obviously, you get to serve the plate, and then the waiter will come and pour the sauce on the side. As the chef said earlier, there's a little bit drama, a little bit something happening on the plate. And this is your truffle, chef, yeah?
Yep. obviously that's going to the table that we can see.
Gary trying to get a camera.
Eh?
Yes, he's on the
Yeah, I
camera.
know. And that's the main dish that we would serve. Once that would come, obviously, I don't know if you want to do it, Andreas.
No,
or
chef,
I-
I'll leave it for you. You're the
So
expert.
obviously the drum, the plate is placed in front of you. And obviously then, if I could stop shaking, that would be a great help. Is just, you pour the jus on there for a bit of drama. Okay, it's not balanced table, but anyway. And that's our venison dish. If anybody would like to just try and have some taste of the venison, you're more than welcome. I don't know if there's any questions from anyone. Sorry?
When do we get to see you on Mars?
Oh, I was there about 1925, sir. That was a long time ago. No. Master Chef is for people who've got nothing else to do. No.
We keep him busy in Knipoch House Hotel, so it's
No,
fine.
I've got enough to do than worry about something like that. Anything else?
Saying venison's not a very strong taste, like compared to a piece of steak.
It's probably got a stronger flavor than steak. It's difficult to explain. How do you explain a flavor of game? It's just very difficult. Has anyone got a definition of how you would explain the flavor that you experience? I think everybody, sorry?
I need to taste
No, of course you can, yes.
when I'll know the difference.
Yes, no, of course.
The last cook here had a piece of steak, so we can tell the difference.
It'll be good that if you want to try some venison, you're more than welcome. It's for venison, it's a lot leaner meat. There's no fat. It's a lot healthier for you. You've got to look at the aspect that the venison we shoot in is wild, it's healthy, it's living its own life. Whereas a lot of animals farmed, force-fed, whatever they are, it tends to change textures and flavors. I'm sure if you ate a piece of steak from a cow that had spent 25 years wandering around the hills doing what it wants all day, would have a heck of a lot of different flavor than the one you get today. So that's why the venison is so special, because they're eating acorns, they're eating this, they're eating that. It's all healthy stuff, and it all adds to the flavor of the animal. And there's an abundance of venison. They can't be shot enough. Unfortunately, it's a horrible thing to say, but in one sense, they're vermin because they are very destructive. But they're still beautiful to eat.
Can you make biltong from venison?
You know what? From South Africa, I might try it one day, but
That's what I'm saying. I knew you were from there.
I would probably say no. I would think because of the drying process of biltong, you need that fat to at least keep some content. When you hang biltong or do biltong, you lose 30 to 35% of the product. So if it weighs a kilo, you will lose 300 grams of that in the drying process. Because the venison is already such a healthy meat, it'll probably just shrivel into nothing. I'm sure someone's tried it, but you've given me something. Maybe when I'm not too busy, I might try and make some biltong out of it. Maybe I can start a business and move out. But yes, it's
Like normal biltong. We don't get enough of that here.
no, you don't. But there's a chap in Glasgow. There's quite a few places in Glasgow that do it. It's too far. You can buy it online. There's plenty of South African shops online.
Well, for boerewors as well.
Yes.
We have another question in the back.
Where do you get the salsa bag? Is that hard to
Yes, salsify I just get from the local. Sorry, I just need to cover my eyes there. It's just J in Breckenridge. It'll probably come from Glasgow. Some of it will come from Spain. Mostly it's called black salsify. You should be able to buy it online. But yes, it's not something you'll find in the shop. It's an extremely dirty vegetable. So when you get it from, it is full of sand. You've got to wash it. And once you peel it, you've got to put it into lemon water so it doesn't brown. And then obviously cook it straight away. But there's lots you can do with it. It can be eaten raw, which is quite nice. It's got a nice, fresh, crunchy taste to it. and you sort of get the earthy flavour with it. But yeah, that's roughly where I get it. If someone could grow it in Scotland, I doubt, I would buy it from them.
I think also the chef, you can briefly talk about one other dish from our 7-course tasting menu, the partridge. Because why you choose partridge, the philosophy behind it?
Yeah, we have a partridge dish on, and we debated partridge or pigeon, and my theory was the partridge is an introduction to game. It's not as gamey as pigeon, it's not as gamey as venison. It's a subtle flavor, so it gives you that if you've never had game before. It's just one step above chicken, guinea fowl. With the dish, I've taken that dish and hopefully paid homage to the partridges. I've put a granola with it, crunchy granola. I've used some lavender heather, listen to me, heather honey, and sweet corn. So I've tried to think what would that animal be eating in the field, and then I can put it on a plate and maybe we can experience. And for me, it's paying homage and tribute back to the partridge because it's a very, very scarce bird. You know, it's a very small period that you can get them, and they're not in huge supply. So that is one of the other dishes we do.
Apart from the other 2 fish dishes as well.
Yeah, we've got 2 fish dishes,
yeah.
Halibut, scallops. Unfortunately, halibut we're now trying to get up in Shetland because Gear Halibut closed down, which was very sad because they had a beautiful farm where they grew the halibut, but unfortunately it closed. So halibut's become quite difficult. It is a better fish to eat farmed than wild because they hunted, so they get very, very stressed. Whereas in a tank, they calm, they peace, they got place to swim, and there's no one hunting them down.
And scallops are also local?
Orkney, and we're trying now to find, there is a place somewhere around near Connell, I believe, that do twice dived scallops, which is very strange, I've never heard of it. So they obviously dive, take it out, and then go and transfer it to another tank or another area and leave it there as well. I'm trying to find out where or who it is. But at the moment I get my scallops from Orkney.
Good. Any other questions, anybody? Oh, yeah.
Is it just red deer that you use the venison from? Or?
This is red, the red deer is the Isle of Mull, that is the main deer. So they usually, once they shoot it, we'll hang it for 7 days and then butcher it. And then it comes to us and then we do what we want to do with it. So yeah, it's a red deer. It's a big monster, it's a beautiful beast. Anything else?
Well, thank you much for coming
Thank
this
you.
afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you to Chef
Thanks
again.
a lot.
Well done.
So I mean, by all means, just pop up if you want to taste a bit of venison.
Come along, have a flavour.
There's a bit of kidney there if you're willing to experiment with it. Yes, kidney and liver.
Venison as opposed to steak.
Yes.